BFM 89.9, good morning. I'm Nadia Hassan with your morning headline, sitting in for Sharat Kutan at the moment. We start this Monday on a fairly sober note, actually talking about the headlines. Most papers just carried the same headline, which is this one, basically a mother's nightmare. It's the story of these two parents who actually lost all three of their kids in one fell swoop. Their kids, which ranged from 14 to 3, actually went cycling to go get the 14-year-old's wages in a nearby kampong. And what happened was they never came home. And the eldest daughter was found first, floating in a ditch. And although she was apparently partially naked, she actually hadn't been touched, according to the autopsy report, and it was actually done by drowning. But the saddest thing was the other two were then subsequently found dead the day after. So it's dominated most of the headlines this morning, including the likes of Berita Harian as well. And you can see that when it just basically dominated everything and it's a very sad story to start the week. And the biggest thing is the fact that most people always seem to think that kampongs are slightly safer than when you compare it to urban areas, but clearly the sweep of crime is reaching there as well, because the parents felt good enough for the kids to actually leave. This was 7:30 p.m. on Friday night, by the way, to go 6 kilometers to the nearest kampong. But obviously the sweep of crime is getting worse, and this has to be something that's going to be addressed. Talking about other headlines in the papers today, New Straits Times also carried that headline, but it also carried this particular story as well. Najib slams the Selangor government. This is a story we were talking about on Friday, and it's continued. I tell you, this one will go on till the cows come home. Basically talked and said that they were hypocrites, because when other ministers asked for pay rise, they made noise, and in their case, they said it was for the good of the people. Ultimately, the story is that there's something more underlying. The big elephant in the room, of course, is corruption. It all stems from that, so it's a story that will continue on, and it's a political move. It will continue on until, like I said, the cows come home. This whole thing about the Selangor MB is also in the front sidebar of the Malay Mail. I'm glad to see it's a proper sidebar and not some girl in a mask and masquerade. I know I keep harping on, but it cannot be pointed out enough. And the other big part is Bangkok. It's gotten worse. Bangkok, unfortunately, has gotten used to these kinds of protests before. Now, according to this story, sharpest escalation of fighting between supporters, and it turned deadly when 4 are killed, scores injured. They call it a people's coup. And it's just a matter of time to see how this plays out. Sad to say, like I said, Thailand is very, very used to these kinds of uprisings, and it's hard to say what's going to happen. In fact, the PM had to be evacuated for that.
Can you say yes to corruption?
Say yes to corruption.
Do you actually believe that?
No.
Have you ever bribed the cop?
I bribed my...
No. But I think in dire circumstances...
Say maybe to corruption.
But say no. Say no to corruption.
Our special programming, in conjunction with the fight against corruption, begins on the 2nd and ends on the 9th of December. Catch the people who are making a difference in the fight against corruption on BFM 89.9.
The Bangkok story also makes the headlines of The Sun, talking about the evacuation, but also there's something here that's a bit close to home for me. It's about a shootout in Seputeh, and it's talking about incidents of crime in urban areas. What happened was some burglars snatched into a house at about 4 a.m. on early Sunday morning. They tied up the family, but were not aware that the son was also in the house, and he managed to call the cops. The cops got there pretty fast. It resulted in a shootout, which woke the residences, and one robber got shot, one was critically injured, and the other one got away. In my personal view, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. For those looking for their tabloid further today, never look further than Metro. Of course, the story of the 3 sisters actually makes up past the headlines. But the other one seems to be the paper's obsession with crocodiles. We didn't see it on Friday, but in Friday we did mention that there was buaya buang mayat, and now they've got a pawang, or like a medicine man, in to sort of soothe the buaya. So I do not know what the Metro's obsession is with crocodiles, but clearly this is a follow-up to that story. And on a final sad note to sort of wrap up this Monday, it's on the front pages of most of the papers, of course, in the international business news section, is the death of Paul Walker, who is the star of the Fast and Furious series. He died at 40. Very sad news indeed, and much condolences to him. and the family. And the more what grabbed the headlines was how it happened. He was a passenger in a car that crashed into a tree and engulfed in flames. Both died instantly. Given the history of Fast and Furious, this seems almost like a case of art imitating life. So a very sad start to the Monday headlines. Hopefully tomorrow when Sharad is back, it will be happier news all around. So I am Nadia Hassan for BFM 89.9.